Haley, and I'm so excited to be here with Monique Francis, the head of marketing for Issa Rae's production studio, HOORAE. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to have a great conversation today on the power of storytelling and the way that it is truly a cultural force. A lot of the work that I do and talk about with my community is sort of the power of authentic storytelling, especially in today's world. You have created and built campaigns rooted in storytelling, especially when it comes to showing the diversity and beauty of human stories and the power of centering women of color in these stories. Why is storytelling such a powerful tool for kind of cutting through the noise and actually moving people towards impact or change?
It's all of the human elements. You know, we're built for stories and storytelling, and really leading with storytelling is also being able to reflect to people who they are, what they care about. It's building connection and really creating and engaging with community around something that they can relate to. So it's really just getting to the heart of, you know, what would actually make someone connect and engage.
And so when it comes to, you know, finding that connection piece and making someone feel the engagement, what's your biggest tip for using storytelling as a way to actually move someone?
Well, you have to give them the payoff, right? Like, what are you actually providing that is interested or that is compelling enough for people to want to take an action? So what's that runway after you're telling the story? Just by way of example, our film, One of Them Days, we really sought to create community and engage our community around universal themes like friendship, and especially friendship between women. And the payoff was really creating an experience, memories, having fun with your friends in a way to really let your hair down, to laugh, to have a release. Our film came out right ahead of the inauguration, so tensions were high, anxieties were high, and this was a great way to just really be in the moment with your friends, have a great time, despite everything else that was going on.
Yeah, I think storytelling really is a great way to break through that noise and help people find some joy or some levity or even just understand and decompress around what the moment is. Is there a particular campaign that you've worked on that has really resonated with you?
So many. I mean, I just spoke about the film, but that's one of our most recent ones that certainly did really resonate with me. I mean, I have to say, the film itself was incredible and really was something that even I felt like I needed at the time. And I was able to have talking about the creating experience, yeah. I took my mom and my sister to see it, oh, wow. And we were dying, like crying, laughing, but it was such a fun campaign to work on because I got to see incredible creativity come out of our team. From our social media was really what led our campaign from the HOORAE side. We had incredible partners at Sony and Macro, and just seeing how everyone was able to rally around this film, and we were scrappy, and our social team really leaned into memes and dialogue that was happening, and then seeing the incredible work that our stars were doing. I mean, anytime Keke Palmer and SZA and Issa were together, that it just really, blew up the internet. So it was so fun and engaging, and it was great to also see that our collective, like friends and family, were seeing it and loving it too.
I must have watched the interviews with them so many times because it truly was such a point of lightheartedness and joy on the internet at the moment. They're really electric together.
Yes.
So I want to take a step back a bit. In today's current climate and world, it feels really heavy. How should brands be approaching community impact, especially today, and why is it so important that it's kind of like a core business strategy rather than just touch and go?
Well, I think it really relates to how you are showing up for your community, like the community that buys your product or service, that fuels your business. And it's important to do that outside of whatever the current dialogue is, like actually being rooted in who you are. I think, we saw one reaction in 2020, and then years later, people reverse that or be scared about like the current administration and some of the dialogue and kind of backlash and pushback on DEI, for example. But if you are rooted in something that exists outside of whatever the current dialogue is or the current, the issue of the day, then it doesn't matter, where the pendulum swings. I think brands that have just stayed rooted in who they are, continue to have success. Like Elf Beauty is one that comes to mind, and Costco, like doubling down and just being like, nope, these are our values. Doesn't really matter, what the current panic is.
I think that consumers want to support values-aligned companies, and that profit and impact do really coexist today. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, but I think they want to believe them. Like it's one thing to state your values, and I think especially this whiplash effect that we've seen over the past couple of years has people thinking like, okay, do you really mean that? And people were definitely skeptical even in 2020 when a number of companies made these big pronouncements and commitments, and it was received, I think, like, okay, this is great, but like, are you going to really keep that promise? And a lot didn't, certainly a number of brands that did, and so I think the important thing is that it's based in something real and not just for, okay, how are we reading the tea leaves of how people are feeling, like can we meet the trend, and it has to be outside of that. So
absolutely. And I think that authenticity is so important. People need to trust you, your brand, and people lose trust when companies kind of flip up on what they're saying. Mm-hmm. The trust is also such an important part of storytelling. Mm-hmm. How do you gain the trust of your audience?
Well, it's something that is very top of mind for us. We've really talked a lot about how are we positioning ourselves to be able to create for them rather than like just promote projects or sell, like giving them something like, hey, here's what we're doing, but actually how are we giving something so that people feel seen, heard. We have like a broadcast channel on Instagram, so we use that to kind of really like speak to our more engaged fans, and we have like a community text tool as well, and so we really want to hear from people, like how are they responding to things, what's going on, like how can we just keep our finger on the pulse of what our community is feeling, and so we are able to either address that or create around that or involve people in our creativity as well. Like we've done like little sweepstakes and things like, what's giving them a prompt, what's like a crazy thing that your best friend did for you, and be able to share that, and people love that. We've got, incredible responses. It's like these should be turned into like little movies or something, how creative people are, but yeah, we love our community.
I love that. I think that's such great advice. So I want to kind of end on advice from you. Is what piece of really unfiltered advice would you offer young creatives, especially young women of color, trying to use storytelling to shift the narrative right now?
I think to just do. I think sometimes we wait for people to give us an opportunity, and the beautiful thing about social media, technology today is that there are fewer barriers to just being able to experiment, to create, to share, to get feedback, to evolve, and I think also to really be a student of your craft. I know, I'm not like a creative. I know in my career, a thing that has really served me is I would look for, okay, what is good work? Like, how can I really break that down and understand and try to emulate that so that I can get to that level? And I think similarly with creatives, being able to, again, be students of your craft, and then also create with each other. Of course, it's great if someone someone senior, high up somewhere who can give you an opportunity, give you a lot. But one thing that we talk a lot about as a company, and ISA as well, is like really networking across and being able to just work with your friends, the people who who are in this as well, and creating together, because you rise together. And so I know for me, like a lot of the people that I'm working with, creating opportunity, doing partnerships and things like that are people that I started out with. So
that's wonderful. Thank you so much for what you're doing, for helping shift the narrative right now and continuing to amplify voices. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, of course.